Now at 6, the phrase baby on board took on a whole new meaning when a woman gave birth while on a flight headed to PDX. We take a closer look at Airline's pregnancy restrictions coming up in a live report.
And normally they're the ones rescuing people, but this time around it was the Cannon Beach fire officials who needed saving. How volunteers managed to pull the fire district's truck out after it got stuck in a trench. Plus.
Great to have the boys home again. A little disappointing the action today, but there is hope.
Yeah, Blazers fans bummed out after the team lost back-to-back games at the Moda Center this weekend, but not all hope is lost. We'll hear from fans hoping the Blazers can bounce back in Game 5 against the Spurs as your News at Sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Monday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Matthew Herchick. Glad to have you with us. Yeah, certainly a disappointing weekend for the Blazers, but if you were making your way out to the Moda Center, Rod, it was a beautiful weekend to do it.
Maybe if we would have had the game outdoors, we would have done better, to your point, because it was so nice out. Here's our Salem sky camera. We are seeing increasing cloud cover now into our capital city and really up and down the Willamette Valley and up into southwest Washington. 38 in Salem, one of the cooler spots this morning. You can see a little blue, but generally the clouds are starting to overtake our skies. PDX quite a bit warmer at 46. This was fairly clear not that long ago, but now look at the clouds overtaking from Chehalem Tasting Room out in Sherwood and 41 degrees. So we'll go morning clouds, partial afternoon clearing today, 43 out the door on average, 54 at noon. Probably still cloudy for many of us. And then when the kids get out of school, assuming we do get the partial clearing, it'll be about 61 degrees. Here's Chris.
All right, we see some partial clearing and a wide open freeway. We'll step out of the way. This is photojournalist Eric Patterson. He's heading northbound on I-5 up towards the Markham Bridge and the I-405 split. You can see traffic actually zipping along just fine on that side of town, as it is across the rest of the freeway system. No problems at the Sylvan Hill right now, no problems through North Portland, and we've got a speed limit clip locally. I do have one trouble spot right now down in Benton County. ODOT reporting a crash that has 99W closed right now, just south of Corvallis near Highway 20. There is a local detour set up, but obviously if you have some travel through there over the next little while, expect some delays. China?
Thank you, Chris. Well, some Delta Airline passengers got quite the surprise when a woman gave birth on a flight traveling from Georgia to Portland.
Yeah, Delta confirmed it happened about a half hour before the flight touched down at PDX on Friday night. Libby Dowsett is live at PDX this morning with more on who stepped in to make sure the mom and baby were safe. Good morning, Libby.
Good morning, Matthew and China. Well, the crew stepped in. They sprang into action, declared an emergency, and also there were 2 nurses and a doctor who helped deliver that baby. Now, we received a statement from Delta Airlines. A spokesperson, Sabrina Cole, said, quote, "We extend our sincere thanks to the crew and medical volunteers on board who stepped in to provide care to a customer on board prior to landing in Portland. The health and safety of our customers is always our top priority, and we wish the new family all the best." When the plane landed safely at PDX about 10 p.m. on Friday, it was met by medical crews. Delta pointed out their flight crews undergo comprehensive medical training for these exact situations. As for its policy for those flying pregnant, the Delta Airlines website says while it does not impose restrictions on flying while pregnant, it does urge passengers, especially those traveling after their 8th month, to check with their doctor beforehand. Other airlines have their own rules. United says pregnant passengers may need a medical clearance to fly if they're traveling while 9 months pregnant, with additional guidelines for high-risk pregnancies. American Airlines says most pregnant passengers must provide a doctor's certificate if their due date is within 4 weeks of a flight. And Alaska Airlines does not have a specific pregnancy policy. And we do have one more note from Delta. They say if you miss your flight or you want to change it and have a fee, it is not waived for pregnancy. Back to you guys.
Our Libby Dowsett reporting live from PDX. Thank you, Libby. Meantime, Alaska Airlines says it lost $139 million during the first quarter of the year. They say it's partially because of the high cost of jet fuel due to the war in Iran. Experts say jet fuel is the largest expense of the airline industry. It comes down to since it's peak during the start of the war, but the closure of the Strait of Hormuz has kept those prices high. Airlines say demand remains strong despite those higher fuel costs getting passed on to customers through baggage fees and higher ticket prices.
I think the thing is, we're looking at a situation now that is so chaotic and so unfocused, and quite frankly, in my view, so unnecessary, that we don't know where the prices are going to go, not only per barrel of oil, but in terms of the overall cost of a gallon of jet fuel.
Major carriers like Delta, United, and American are all reporting similar cost pressures and fare increases.
We're learning this morning the victim of a hit and run earlier this month has died from his injuries. Portland police say on April 7th, 51-year-old Edward Congolo was hit by a car at Northeast MLK in Killingsworth. The driver left the scene and has not been arrested. Congolo later died on Saturday, the 18th. Police are continuing to search for the driver.
A crash involving two semi-trucks closed down all northbound I-5 lanes for hours on Saturday. It happened near the I-405 southbound interchange just before 11 a.m. Portland police say two people in one of the semis were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The northbound lanes reopened around 3:30 Saturday afternoon. No one was arrested or cited. Well, out at the coast, local volunteers came to the rescue of the Cannon Beach Fire District, and it was all caught on video. The fire district says crews had been responding to a surfer missing near Chapman Point when the command unit crossed through Ecolas Creek and got stuck in shallow trench. The deputy chief who was driving the vehicle says the water quickly rose about 5 feet.
When I first got stuck in that hole, it was only just above we had running boards. So it was just above the running boards, the step boards. And then as that tide started to kind of impact it, it started to get a little bit higher and started to hit the door. And then at which point is when the water started to kind of seep in through the bottom of the door.
And it took the help of two Jeeps from a 4x4 group in Clatsop County to pull the truck out. The fire district believes the truck is a total loss, except for some equipment that they were able to recover. After searching the area, crews did not find a person in distress.
Well, it was another tough game for the Blazers in their first-round playoff series against the Spurs. After a 120-108 loss against San Antonio in Game 3, the Blazers gave up a double-digit lead in the second half of Game 4. Now, even though Victor Wembanyama was back on the court for the Spurs, the Blazers led by 17 points at halftime, but the second half was a completely different story. The Spurs took the lead in the fourth quarter and eventually won this one comfortably, 114-93. The Spurs now take a commanding 3-1 series lead and will look to close things out in Game 5 tomorrow back in San Antonio. Tip-off in that one is set for 6:30 our time.
And for Blazers fans, this probably wasn't the comeback that they were expecting, but they're still taking away some positives. Jay Coulter talked with some of them outside Moda Center.
Overall sentiment here is disappointment after the Blazers fell apart in the third quarter, but fans still feeling lucky to have been able to go to a playoff game here in Portland this year.
I think we're in trouble.
Excitement and then let's leave.
A packed Moda Center Sunday for Game 4 between the Blazers and the San Antonio Spurs, and vibes were high before the game.
There's no way we lose this one. We're winning this one, right?
Yeah.
The Blazers spent much of the second quarter up by double digits, but it all fell apart after half.
I thought it was going to be a fight for sure, but I wasn't expecting that complete collapse.
Blazers are kind of notorious for a tough third quarter. We'll figure that out hopefully eventually. Thought we kind of had Wemby a little figured out. You know, he had a good game, but didn't think he was the reason he killed us. But hopefully we figure it out next game, I guess. We'll see.
Diehard Blazers fans Jake Matthews and Ariana Alonso disappointed by the result.
It's hurtful. I've been a Blazer fan my whole life. I've been seeing this since 2005.
And while it wasn't what the fans hoped for, everyone is still thankful that Portland has had some playoff games here at home this year.
It's just great to be here. It's great to be in the environment, the playoff environment, having almost a sellout game. It felt good to be in there. There's a lot of people. The crowd is amazing. You know, the first half was great, but it's hard to walk out of here like this every time.
I thought for sure we had it for a while. I was ready to book a ticket for Game 6, and now here we are. I'm going home early, so it's tough.
Great to have the boys home again. A little disappointing the action today, but, you know, there is hope.
The Blazers head back to San Antonio for Game 5 on Tuesday. Jake.
A lot of hope. Hope.
Maybe we'll get a Game 6 here, Rod.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the bottom line is this team had a really good season, right?
Yeah, they've had a great season.
Wherever you thought they would end up, for the most part, they end up above that. Of course, the season's not over yet, as you mentioned, Matthew, but this is a team that's exciting to watch. Here's our Futurecast. We are looking at morning clouds right now on the march into the valley. Futurecast shows, for the most part, we're overcast. So see how the low clouds come in, they bank up against the Cascades. This is 9 o'clock, and then we'll look for partial clearing this afternoon. We'll do this again tomorrow, by the way, with a cooler wave of air to start the week. Here's Seaside Live. Now, the beach, a lot of you probably will just stay overcast today, right along the coast anyway. 51 degrees in Seaside. Here are the increasing clouds coming in the Columbia River from the Vancouver, the Springs at the waterfront. 44 looking out across the Interstate Bridge. Temperatures not bad, but certainly seasonally cool. 38 in Forest Grove, 42 Tigard, 46 downtown Portland, and 45 in Camas and Gresham this morning. Aurora, good morning to you. 41. It's 40 in Salem and 42 down in Albany. Forecast map for today. Again, the coast expected to stay cloudy. That'll be low to mid 50s. Expecting to see partial clearing this afternoon and getting up at least into the 60s for the I-5 corridor. And again, the forecast does call for some scattered showers today, mainly out across far eastern areas of temperatures in the 50s, so cool. 7-day, minus any misty spots today or tomorrow in the morning, is all dry. 63 today. Tomorrow, I think, could be a day that is cloudy much of the time. I only have us at 59. But then we clear out. Wednesday, sunny all day, 72, 76 on Thursday. And right now, it looks like we would stay sunny and very pleasant all the way into the weekend. That is your update.
Thank you, Rod.